Welcome back to nicksrambleasmr, where you can be you, aka check the bees out, and where I can be me, and where we can all be in between. Hey, my name's Nick, and on this video, I wanted to talk to you about a film that just came out. It is called Poor Things. Poor Things, Poor Things, Poor Things, Poor Things. So, if you're cool with getting the film spoiled, or if you've already watched it, continue on with this video, but I'm giving you a little heads up. If you want to watch this film, feel free to save this film and you can come back to it afterwards, because we're going to kind of dive deep. I'm going to tell you all my thoughts. We're going to talk about the movie. I have my notebook. It's down here. I have my notebook with some information about the movie, and I also at the end of this video, stay around. I'm gonna read some facts about the film as well, so some things that you probably didn't know about it that I thought was interesting as well. So this is your heads up. I'm gonna count to three. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, cool. So let's talk about Poor Things. So first off, before we talk about thoughts, I'm gonna give you some background information. Let's just talk about this to set the stage. So Poor Things is directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. I think I said that right. He is the director of a lot of films, including The Lobster, The Killing of a Sacred Deer, Dogtooth, and The Favorite, which was with Emma Stone in 2018. She's in this film as well, as you probably have seen. And the screenplay who wrote this movie was Tony McNamara, who also wrote The Favorite, which was Yorgos' last film, so they worked together on this film as well. So I'm assuming things went well between them. And it was also worked on by Alexandria Grace, who is what the story is actually based about. So Alex Starr also got writing credits for the screenplay, but that's because this film is actually an adaptation. It's actually based off of Alice Starr Gray's novel, which is called Poor Things, Episodes from Early Life of Archibald McCandless, MD, Scottish Public Health Officer. It's a very long title, but this was created in, I didn't check, I think it's in the 1980s, I want to say, which I thought was really interesting, because this film is crazy, and the fact that it's based off of a novel, I'm just like, you know. Let's talk about cast. So, who's in this film? So we have Emma Stone, who plays the main character, Bella Baxter. We have Mark Ruffalo, who is Duncan Weddyer-Hempbaum. Emma Stone, you know from like Easy A, you know Emma Stone. Who doesn't? Mark Ruffalo, 13 going on 30, probably other films, but that's all I really know him from. William Dafoe, who plays Dr. Godwin Baxter, who's also referred to in this film and probably the story as God, which I thought was very cool. We have Rami Youssef, who is Mac McCandless. Now, I never saw the show, but he is the creator and the star of the TV show Rami. We have Christopher Abbott, who plays Elfie Blessington. We have Catherine Hunter, who plays Swiney. And we have Jared Carmichael, who plays Harry Astler. This film was released on December 8th, 2023. And, yeah. I also thought it was interesting. I did a little bit of background work. We're going to talk about the film in a sec. But I looked, because Yorgos Lanthimos, so I'm in the industry, but I'm trying to get better with, like, directors, because I really want to be one. I was trying to see if he had like always wrote with the same person, because I realized he didn't write the film. He worked with Tony McNamara on this film and The Favorite, but before that, he had a whole other writer, and I'm like, did something happen between them? the writers. Like, was there some beef? Like, why don't they work together more? And the writer, like, it's not like the other writer that he used to work with was Ephthemius Philippo. I don't know how to pronounce it. And he worked on 3 films with Yorgos that had critical acclaim. It was Dogtooth, Killing of a Sacred Deer, and The Lobster. Dogtooth went to Sundance, which is cool because one of the films I worked on is going to Sundance this weekend. It's called Little Death. If you're there, check it out. I did all the film scouting for it, which is really, really cool. But yeah, this boy, they don't work together anymore. And I don't know. Like, do you think there was beef, or do you just think it happened organically? I don't know. But, okay, let's get into this film. So, can we just talk about, I saw this film last night, and I went into it not knowing anything besides the trailer. And what I saw was Emma Stone playing as Bella Baxter, you know, just kind of like goofing around on the boat. It looked odd. It looked weird. And Yorgos Lanthimos, although, to be honest, I didn't know him by name, I did know his other films. And I did see The Lobster and The Killing of a Sacred Deer. I remember The Lobster being so outlandish, so weird, based in dystopia world. If you never saw The Lobster, go check it out. It's about this, I'm going to butcher this, but Colin Farrell's in it. And it's about this thing where it's, oh my god, what is it? It's like if you don't fall in love or don't find a partner by the time, I think it's like 50 years old, or by a certain time, you turn into a lobster. There's like a time limit. So, or you turn into an animal. And so the whole film is like the pressure to find love. I might have butchered that, sorry if I did, but that's kind of the gist. It's weird. Very, very good. So, this film, that's all I went into it knowing that, hey, okay, The Lobster was weird, this is gonna be weird. Can we talk about this film? Y'all, everyone is giving crap to Saltburn. If you haven't already, check out my video about it where I talk about it. But everyone was so queasy with that film. Let them watch this film. This film is so... I literally had my mouth drop to the floor. It is so hypersexual. I literally don't know how many sex scenes they filmed with Emma Stone. And all the people she hooked up with, it was insane. I literally was next to someone that I have a movie group I go with because I have AMC A-List, which is, if you don't know, it's like a subscription base for AMC, so I can go as many times as I want in a month because I pay a monthly membership program. And I went with this girl that I go with all the time, but I go with other people, but it was just her and I, and we sit next to each other and watch this. We don't know each other that well, and it's literally just sex scene after sex scene after sex scene. It's so crazy. But I loved, if you've been watching, I love films that are bold. I love films that make you feel things, and I love being in an audience where everyone's giving remarks, you know, they're like, ew, or they're like, oh my god, or, you know, laughing or crying. Like, those are the films I think are succeeding. It doesn't matter if we, you know, agree with it or not. If it's hitting you in a certain way, making you feel something, I think that's success. So this film was definitely do that in the audience and in me, which is really cool. And also I thought it was really cool, Emma Stone won a Golden Globe for this, which I totally see why. But also with this film too is, it's good if that happens. Like, that happened with Saltburn, which I really enjoyed, and it was visually stunning. That's why I liked the film. But this also, I just thought was crafted beautifully. It kind of, you left away feeling something. The message at the end was great. So let's just talk about it. Some of my favorite things, I'll try and go in chronological order, but as always, let me know what your favorite thing about this film is. What is something you didn't like in the comments? This is supposed to be a huge like discussion thread. Let's go for it. So my favorite thing is with this film is how the different cameras they use, the different angles. I love, like, we have this thing for DP work, director of photography work. I love that we have this fishbowl effect you know, and we have some really wide shots. So if you have an iPhone, you click on the, you know how you can like look at the camera and they can go ultra wide. That's what it kind of felt like, and I loved how it was in black and white. I loved how it felt like we were kind of like peeking in on this world, because it is a very weird world. It's basically Frankenstein meets a whorehouse. I don't know. It's just so interesting. I love that it was black and white, and what I really appreciated, which I don't know if you picked up on, I love how minimal dialogue there was. I love how they didn't explain much. We learned by seeing, by analyzing ourselves, and yeah, there was dialogue, but it was very spot on. I thought the writing was really, really good. There was no over explanation about anything, and by the end of like 15 minutes or 10 minutes, we got the gist. We knew. Like, one line that kept sticking with me, and it's the editing I thought was phenomenal, is they say Emma Stone, they say Bella Baxter, she learns quickly, or something like that. And that's like one of the only dialogues you hear for a bit, and that sticks with you. It stays in your head, at least it did for me, and that gives you the whole explanation on how the rest of the film works. And it's only one line. They don't talk about it again. No one, you know, does it again. It's just that one line is emphasized, and then you know from the rest of the film on, you know, like when she starts talking, because it's so cool. As an actor, it would be really cool to act this too, because you start off, Emma Stone, like, she starts out as a literal baby, which is really funny. They thought she had mental problems, which she kind of did, because if you know, you know. Which I'll get into in a sec, but and then it's so amazing because, yeah, then she goes into being a full adult, which is just crazy. So wild. I thought it was interesting. So what happens if you don't know? You do know, but this is what I just think this concept is so crazy, and the fact that they can deliver it to you without like over explaining is just a true testament to the good storytelling of this film. Basically what happens is Bella Baxter, who was known as like Victoria or something before, we find that out later in the film, she commits suicide. She jumps off a bridge. She's pregnant. She gets taken in by William Dafoe's character, God, and he basically says how he can, he was like, oh, she was still living, and Rami's character, Max, he's telling Max this, and Max was like, well, why wouldn't you save her? And he was like, well, like, why would you put her back into life if she clearly wanted to leave it? Which I disagree with. I always, like, don't do that. That's so selfish. You should totally, like, revive the person and let them relive their life, but whatever. But then, oh my god, it's just so crazy. And what happens is God takes the baby and stuff. Sorry, God takes the baby out of Victoria's body, and takes the brain out of the baby, puts it into Victoria's head, and calls her Bella Baxter, and she basically becomes reborn as a baby and in an adult form, and she learns the way of life. It is fascinating, and it is so visually stunning, very cuckoo world. It's cool because it takes place in modern day. Like, what do you think? It took place in modern day because it took place in London. They went to Lisbon, and they went on a boat to Alexandria. But then the world looks so different. It was like surrealist, and it was like, you know, weird and colorful, and the people, they acted very like jarred and very like robotic a little bit, especially Mark Ruffalo's character. Like, his character arc where he starts off kind of normal and then turns into this lunatic, like pulling out his hair. Crazy. The character arcs in this is crazy because they kind of flip, right? Like Emma Stone's character Bella Baxter is kind of crazy. She's a baby. She's literally a baby, and she goes cuckoo, like she doesn't know anything, and then she turns into this really intelligent woman, And then Mark Ruffalo's character does the opposite, is like very an adult and turns into a kid, and it's kind of cool because it represents sort of like how children view adults, and then how when you get older, like you realize they're really messed up as well. They're not all sunflower and sunshines. Something I really adored about this film was, I thought it was cool that it was sectioned in 3 parts. I couldn't remember the parts. If you remember, let me know. I remember, like, there's obviously the beginning. There was the boat. There's Alexandria. There's Lisbon. There's Lisbon, the boat, Alexandria, and then I think, like, home. I don't know what it was, but I love that was sectioned off. And my favorite thing, I'm realizing this is what I love about filmmaking, and I think I want to do it for my stuff eventually one day, if I get the balls. I love sexuality, I love intimacy, and I love going there. There is this wonderful scene where Emma Stone is on, she's sitting at the end of the table, and she grabs fruit and she starts pleasuring herself, and then the old lady comes by and she's like, oh, you're really upset, let me pleasure you, very innocently. But I don't know about you, but it reminds me of like childhood, of adolescence, when you learn self-pleasurement, and that just guttural, instinctive, visceral feeling of, oh my god, my body can give me pleasure, and how do I feel that, and how do I go about that, and everything. Sorry, my laptop can be a little loud. And all of that stuff. I'm turning my laptop off. But I love how it was very much like that. And like, I don't know about you, do you remember the first time where you really felt primal and sexual? And it's cool how we live with her in this, and she has no shame in it. So she asked everyone to touch her and to make her feel good and everything. And when this was a weird thing, I don't know how you felt. You know, when Mark Ruffalo's character, he comes in, so Bella Baxter is with Max. So what happens is Bella is Bella, God is like her dad, and then her dad like works as a surgeon, and Max is a student, and God brings Max over to like study Bella, and eventually she's progressing so much, God asks Max to marry Bella, and Bella agrees. But then Mark Ruffalo's character comes in. He's the guy that basically like writes the contract. He's like a lawyer, and he finds Bella, and basically I think he knows about her or something. I don't know how, but he does. Oh, because he's drafting the agreement, and he tells her that they are like making her a prisoner, and that if she really wants real life, come join him. And he literally there's something she says, and then he literally like feels her genitals, and no one has touched her like that at all in this film, and it was like the first thing he does, and she like loves him because of it. And so it's such a I was like, oh my god, that is crossing the line. What do you think? But then I also was like, this is kind of cool, but also this is, our society is very, consent is everything. So it's a question, but also there is this primal aspect of, touch. That primal instinct exists. So it's very fascinating. I just loved the uncovering of sexual appetite, and how there was no shame around it, and they literally spend the rest of the film having what is it, they're like jumping, what was it called, something jumping. I don't know. And what ends up happening is Mark Ruffalo's character ends up falling in love with Emma Stone's character. Emma Stone, I don't relate to this, but there are people in the audience who are laughing at Mark Ruffalo and Emma Stone's like dynamic, because Emma Stone's character always says what's on her mind, and she was saying how she wants to like jump his bones at certain points while at the same time wanting to throw him off the boat and kill him. It's like this, and she's like, I don't know what to do. I hate him but love him, and everyone thought that was so funny. And I haven't been in a long-term relationship, but I bet that's true because everyone's reaction was like thought I was hysterical. So good job. So she goes to Lisbon with this guy, with Mark Ruffalo's character. Then, you know, what is it? She's like eating too much food. She's dancing weirdly. She's making a mockery of them. He basically kidnaps her on a boat, but puts her on a boat to Alexandria. On this boat, she and him like keep hooking up, but then they basically start to fall apart. And it's not even like, it's funny, she doesn't really care. He's like falling in love with her too much that he is like willing to do anything for her, and she just could care less. So she's like, oh, throw that person over the boat, and he's like, okay. And she follows him like giddily because she's like, oh my god, this is so exciting. And he doesn't. He tries, but it doesn't work. Like, and everyone's giving him crap because they're like, oh, are you gonna murder me now? The woman's like, are you gonna murder me now? And he tries, and like no one cares because then the sailors help like stop him. And this is like a constant thing with Mark Ruffalo's characters. Like he just gets emasculated every single moment. But I don't know about you, but I was like really thrown off when they had their first sex scene, Emma Stone and Mark Ruffalo, because they were like butt naked. Emma Stone, you see everything, and Mark Ruffalo, you don't, but you, like, his genitals is the only thing covered up. But I was just like, whoa. And little did I know that was going to be the rest of the film. Like, she hooked up with so many different people, and it was so visual. There's this one scene, so basically she goes, okay, let's just keep going. So basically she's on the boat, she meets this guy who is Jared Carmichael's character named Harry, and he sneaks her off the boat in Alexandria and shows her the miseries of the world, because she's like, the good thing about Emma Stone's character, Belle Baxter, she's like, I can change the world, and there's good in everything, and everything is a science experiment, you just have to like figure things out. Harry is a nihilist and a very pessimistic person. So, he basically takes her to Alexandria, and there's all these dead babies. And sorry, that's so sad. But basically, he shows her the injustices of the world, and she breaks down and cries. She then gives all the money away that Mark Ruffalo's character has to these sailors. And it's just so funny. Like, she doesn't know what she's doing. And anyway, okay, so basically they lose all their money, get kicked on the boat, they get to I don't know, it was like Greece, it's somewhere, I forget where. If you remember, let me know. But she basically starts to she tries to make money, and she starts whoring herself out basically to make money. She's like, I like sex. I can get paid for this, might as well. Like, that's where she's at. And there's this one scene where she has sex with a guy, and I think you'll remember this. She like bends over. It feels so, I was like, whoa, this is like kind of pornographic, but it wasn't. It was obviously very artistically done. Not that porn can't be artistically done. It can, but your boy doesn't watch it anymore. FYI, I was doing no fap, sorry, sort of right now, but I'm on a kick from watching stuff like that. I hope you are too. It's not good for us. Or everything is okay in moderation. You choose, but for me it's not good. And but it was so interesting. It was so sexually stimulating, and then she ends up falling in love with that girl. You know, that girl, like the other brothel person, she ends up falling in love with her, and I thought that was crazy. I didn't know how I felt about it. I was kind of like, oh, because your boy's queer, so I'm like, I should be supportive of that, but I kind of was like, meh. To be honest, I didn't ship that relationship. I was kind of like, meh. but she must have loved her because she ended up with her in the end. So, so then she's there and she finds out that God is dying, and I love the letters. I don't know, don't you love the letters that they send back and forth? It's like all these drawings. It's so dumb. Oh, it's so funny. And so basically Bella Baxter returns to God to say goodbye, where she ends up finding out, you know, everything that we know now. She was pregnant. She had a baby. We learn all about that. While this was happening, God also found another lady to take care of, like to turn into like a Bella Baxter, but it's not the same stitch. Bella basically asks Max to marry her, which is very sweet. And they're about to get married, and then bum, 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 and then yeah, boy. Oh, I got it wrong. No, I didn't get it wrong. Did I? No, I didn't. And then Christopher Abbott's character Alfie Blessington comes in, and that was Victoria's husband. It stops right at the wedding, as a classic does. He stops the wedding and says, "That's my wife. Don't take her." And she's like, "Let me go with him." And so she does, because she's all about adventure and living life, which is very cool. And then she learns that she's basically been a prisoner in this palace, and no wonder that she tried to commit suicide. And I love her ballsiness. Didn't you just love? So she finds out she's gonna get drugged to do surgery, and I fucking love. She doesn't run away. She, like, I thought after the scene she would like run away, but she doesn't. Instead, she waits. She goes up to him and she's like, "I want to leave now." And he's like, "Have a martini." And she's like, "No, I want to leave now." And also sorry for the noise and stuff, but and then my walls right then, it's so sad. And then he's like, "I own territory, I own you." And she's like, "You don't own me." And he's like, "Do you want me to shoot you?" And she's like, "I'd rather you shoot my heart." And then he's like, "Just take the drink. Like, I'm trying to help you so you don't become sexual or whatever." It's actually really cool, because I thought it was really cool commentary actually about everything happening in our world, about abortion, you know, women's rights. I was like, oh, I see this mirror. And she almost gives in, and she's like, "Well, it would be nice not to worry about that anymore." And then, you know what she does? She's badass. She fucking throws a drink at him, and she grabs the gun and shoots his foot. And she's like, she's on the other side, and he gets mad, and then he tries to run, and then he falls because his foot's shot, which I thought was so stupidly funny. And then they bring him back to God's place. God had this thing where he like turns animals into other animals, and I think by this time God is passed, sadly, and she and Max save him and give him the brain of a sheep. And then the film ends where they're all in the back and Max is there, but then Bella's sitting next to her girl lover, and then the guy, Harry Astley, who got shot in the foot, he's now in the lawn, neighing like a goat. And that's the end of the film, and it's happy. I love the structure. This was really good. You know, they asked the question. So the first question, let's talk about why this film is really good. The film opens up, we're like, what is this world? Let's talk about the questions we ask. We go, what is this world? We go, who is she? Why is she here? How is she here? All that stuff. We learn why, we learn how, we learn where, what. And okay, I guess we learn everything. The only question that we have that, you know, the film could have ended without, but I'm glad they didn't, was the who. It was the who. Yeah, we didn't have the who. We had the where, what, when, and how. We didn't have the who. We learned who Bella Baxter was through the story of who she became, but we didn't know who she was before. And I love at the end we have that moment where she revisits who she really was, because that's the question at the full thing of it was, right? We were like, it was like, who is she? But you know what was really cool was Max's character asks, what is she? What? Which jars us out of thinking of like her as a who. That's the first thing he goes, what is she? Remember when like he's like at the beginning he's like, oh my god, she's mentally disabled, and he goes, what is she? By asking that question, we look at her more as like, oh, she's an experiment, she's not a person. Although before that we were looking at her as a person, so we get disjointed. We think of her as a what, then we view the film as that. We don't view her really as a person, right? We view her as like this creature. But then at the end we get the who answered of like, who actually is she, and is she who she is now actually better than what it was before? And what's really cool is God's character, William Dafoe's character, basically says at the beginning of the film, he goes, it's better that, like, isn't it better to have Bella than not to have Bella at all? So he gives this question, and that question doesn't get answered. I literally remember watching this. He asked that question to Max, and then we cut straight to the next scene, and I love that. I want to do that for my next films, because what it does is it holds that question in your mind, and you hold it, right, until this end moment. This end moment where we learn, we get to see, like, is Bella's life actually better than what her life was before? And this does a couple of things, because if God is true, if what God says is right, then that means everything that he said during the entire film is correct. That means that he's like a good moral person, so that means that we trust him. He wasn't lying, he wasn't manipulative. We like him because he's on our team. If it was wrong, if Victoria's life was better than Bella, it would flip our perception of God, and it would flip the whole perception of the film. So it kind of would have made maybe the film a little bit darker at the end. It would have been us realizing, oh, this poor woman just got turned into this terrible monster. Although the way that the film is arced, and you could kind of see, it would have been like, as you watched it, would have been surprising that it had that dark turn at the end. But that's what's really cool, is he asked the question, and then it gets answered. We see it, and we see, no, Bella, it's good that she's Bella now. She's actually a lot better off than Bella. And we see that because, you know, Bella and that guy, they were cruel to each other. They were cruel. They were making, like, he made fun of the service person and stuff, which was just so freaking ridiculous. I was like, what? Who are they? You know? And all of that stuff. So that was crazy. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are and stuff about the film. I love the sexuality of it. I love, it's funny that her and Jennifer Lawrence, they're like friends, and they both did films this year that they were like completely nude for. I think it's so liberating for an artist to feel like they can become naked on screen for something artistic. It's that saying, like, once you've seen them naked, it doesn't matter anymore, or something like that, you know, like. But I thought it was really cool, and I'm very impressed. I mean, Emma Stone's obviously an amazing actress. I think so. I've loved her since ECA. But this is a hard character to do, and the vulnerability and the exposing, like, the sex scenes and all of that, it just takes a lot of faith and trust in the director and the story. So I just thought it was lovely. I love the characters, I love the writing, the costumes, I love all of that. And I especially love the ending. I literally walked away being like, my Letterboxd review was, holy fuck. And I gave 4 stars. I gave 4 stars. The reason I didn't do 5, a 5-star film for me has to be, all of this has to be creative, good writing, entertaining, but it also has to make you feel things. This film, there were really good moments where it made me feel things. I love the music, the scoring. When William Dafoe's character was passing away, like, the music that was playing really almost got me there. I really loved it. But what also makes a 5-star film for me is there needs to be, like, a really harsh, a really good message. Like, I love to walk away from a film being like, oh, I never thought of life like that, and that really changes my life and how I view things. But also that's so subjective. It's things that resonate with you, right? So for instance, films I really loved that you probably don't agree with maybe is like, I love Arrival, but that's because I really deep down believe in like time and spirituality of like time jumping, and I think everything's correlated and all that. This film was amazing. It probably should be a 4.5 star for me. It's really, really good. I just didn't feel like 5. Let me know how many stars you would rank it out of 5. And yeah, let me know if you like this film. If you hated this film, literally tell me anything I missed, anything that you wish we talked about. Talk about it down in the comments. Interact with each other. And if you like these videos, let me know, because I can do more film reviews and stuff. I've been doing more of ones I've really enjoyed. I can also do ones of movies I watched that I didn't like, so let me know if that interests you. Also, let me know what films you're about to watch and everything. Yeah. Also, as you can see here, I'm never going to mention this again, or maybe I will. This is kind of something fun that we're doing. Join our membership program, where you can, we're known as the Hive. You'll get a bee on the wall, and you can either put your name, or you can name your bee or something. It's a great way to support the channel, support this community. It's also just a place that we're trying to build a more sacred community. So if that interests you, let me know. Also, let me know. Let me know. If pricing and stuff is too much, let me know too. I'm trying to figure out like a good tier thing. I don't like the whole paying thing, but it does help me a lot and stuff. It helps this community, so it's like it's going somewhere useful. But if it's really too much and stuff, send me a DM and stuff. I want to make our community together, but I also want to create something exclusive for you, so that like if you really enjoy this channel and this video and the people in this community, we have a safe place to go to. I don't want everyone to feel like they can access that, the sacred heart, you know. So yeah, and also no worries if you can't afford anything. Like, no worries at all. It just helps a lot. So I totally forgot to film this when I filmed this film review. So here are the fun facts that I promised you about Poor Things. Let's get into it. So, number 1, Poor Things is a 2023 steampunk black comedy fantasy film. I'm just going to read these in order. I'm not going to tell you the number anymore. It is based on the 1992 novel of the same name by Alexandria. I already told you. It focuses on a young Victorian woman who... Wait a minute. Oh, we're just getting going. Okay, it focuses on a young Victorian woman who, after being crudely resurrected by a scientist following her suicide, runs off with a debauched lawyer to embark of an odyssey of self-discovery and sexual liberation. It was produced by Film 4 Productions, Element Pictures, TSG Entertainment, and Searchlight Pictures. Development on the film began as early as 2009, when Lanthimos visited Gray in Scotland. So that's when the director visited the writer in Scotland of the original book, in Scotland to acquire the rights to the novel in 2009. That's before the killing of a sacred deer. That's before the Lobster. Like, this is following a period in development hell. The director revisited Poor Things while filming The Favorite in 2018, which starred Stone, and approached her with the lead role. The remaining cast joined the project in 2021. Principal Lanthimos' longest film to date. Emma Stone's third collaboration with Yorgos Lanthimos after The Favourite and the short film Fée Bleed with the Greek National Opera. Reportedly, a stream of theatergoers bolted for the exit during the premiere at the 2023 Venice Film Festival due to the graphic and sometimes violent sex scenes involving Emma Stone's character. The cast includes one Oscar winner, Emma Stone, and two Oscar nominees, William Dafoe and Mark Ruffalo. Christopher Abbott and Margaret Qualley have worked together before in the film Sanctuary. Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, and William Dafoe all worked with Marvel Studios. Ruffalo in the Avengers 2012, Avengers Age of Ultron 2015, Avengers Infinity War 2018, and Avengers Endgame 2019 as Dr. Bruce Banner Hulk. Emma Stone played Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man and its sequel, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 2014. William Dafoe played Dr. Norman Osborn, Green Goblin, Spider-Man 2002, Spider-Man 2000, Spider-Man 2 2004, Spider-Man 3 2007, and Spider-Man No Way Home 2021. Lanthimos worked closely with the costume designer Holly Waddington in order to reflect Bella's growth and development through her wardrobe, from the more puffy silhouettes of her childlike era to the nearly corseted gown she wears at the film's climax. Stone further elaborated on Bella's growth reflected through her costumes, detailing how in the beginning of the story, Bella dresses in more traditional clothing of the era, and following her transformation begins to dress herself in more bizarre clothes, which is very, very true, very cool. Last one on the review aggregator website, Rotten Tomatoes, 98% of 49 critics' reviews are positive with an average rating of 9.3 out of 10. Yeah, I think it did really, really well. So, those were some fun facts about Poor Things. Let me know in the comments, what did you think about the film? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was weird? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Sharing is caring, and if you want to support our channel, if you want to help us grow to 3,000, consider subscribing, liking this video, sharing it with whoever loves ASMR, movies,